we're doing today.
What we're going to do today is work on coming up with a system for using the Equihaler, and we'll explain what that is in a minute, for getting some inhaled medications into copper. Copper has a chronic respiratory issue.
Okay.
And what we try to do is get medications down all the way to the bottom of the airway. Let's look at copper. When we use inhalers as people, we often just use an inhaler like that, and sometimes we can use a chamber, which is like this without the big face coat on it. And you actually breathe just the way we're going to do this with a horse right now, which is get the aerosolized medication in the chamber, again, to breathe it. But when we are taught to use inhalers as people, what did the doctor tell us first, right? Get all the air out of your lungs, and then take as deep a breath as you can. And you might do that 1, 2, 3 times, depending on the dosage the doctor has you on for your inhaled meds. We can't do that with these guys, and the problem that we deal with is, we'll look at the anatomy right now. So here's the issue that we run into with horses. Number one, we can't ask them to get all the air out of their lungs and then ask them to take a deep breath. We have to use their natural inhalation cycle, and in many cases it's compromised because of their airway disease. So one thing I always thought was kind of cool that I was taught in school was, think about if you're a molecule of air, right, or oxygen or nitrogen, you've got to start here in the nostril. You got to go up about a foot of just upper airway. You got to make a corner into the larynx. You got to go through this little kind of valvy, flappy thing called the larynx. And then you got probably 3.5 feet of bronchus or trachea, big airway, which separates into bronchus and then smaller bronchioles and then airway. And a way to think about this is a huge maple tree with a big, long trunk, right? That's the trachea, the airway. And then as the air goes up the maple tree, it branches into larger branches, right? In this case, there's only 2 called bronchi. And then from there, it goes into tinier branches and into leaves. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs in the leaves, way, way, way down in here, way spread out. And guess where the medication has to go? Almost all the way to the leaves, at least to the bronchioles, the very small airways. Then we have something called, I don't like the name of the word, but it's called dead space. It's how much air doesn't move with each breath, right? So when he takes a breath, especially if he's a little compromised, that molecule of air, if we measured it, it might go into about here and then come back out. And it's mixing with carbon dioxide and other respiratory exhaust gases that he's trying to get out of his lungs, because he's exchanging good molecules for exhaust molecules. It's like fuel. So what happens is, it doesn't, like, that molecule doesn't go all the way in here on one breath and then all that carbon dioxide go all the way back out on one breath. It just has to work its way down as the exhaust gases are working their way out. It might take 3 or 4 breaths for a normal horse to actually exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. If we take an inhaler and we put a little bit in the chamber and he takes a breath, where's this medicine go to first breath? Maybe here, right? It's nowhere near where we're asking it to do the job. So then he exhausts, and this has a valve which lets it out, doesn't let it mix in here. So every time he takes air in, the medication goes in through here, but it's a very imperfect system. Number one, we're only covering one nostril, right? When we do an inhaler as people, we're taking it straight down our airway. Horses can't use their mouths to breathe, they have to use their nostrils. So we're working with a very limited system to move that medication in. So when we go like 5 puffs of this, what we're going to try to demonstrate today with Danette is to see, like, get a puff. We'll give him 2 or 3 breaths, maybe 4 or 5 breaths to get that in. Give him another puff. We'd like to keep this on if he'll let us, because that's probably the first problem we run into with this system is some horses don't like this on their nose. If I have horses that are really good, and I don't think we're going to try this today, I'll actually cover the other nostril if the horse allows it while we're doing this. It might take 3 hands, but that way you really are now closing the system off for the better exchange of medication and oxygen with carbon dioxide. For most horses, we're just happy if we can get this on here. And then what we're going to play with today and see if we can accomplish is watching, putting an inhalation into the chamber, letting him breathe 3 or 4 times, and then do it again. And those 5 puffs might take 20, 25, 30 breaths to accomplish, okay? So let's try that. So you want somebody else to hang on, or you hang on to him? Obviously. You want me to hang on to him, or are you good? Okay. So we get a nice seal on the nostril. Okay, so now we got to kind of watch him breathe, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try another one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be number 4, right? Okay. And as you can see, what's happening is we're filling his whole airway with this aerosolized medication. And he can't help but get it down into lower airway. Good. Okay, let's do one more. Oh yeah, go ahead. And are you covering his other nostril or just holding that on? That's fine. That's good. Yeah. Oh, so you're counting from the nostril? Okay, good. So he's so used to this now, and he's been really good about this. So right there was a nice way to try to do. I probably would try to go 5 breaths with him. What we used there was fluticasone, just so people want to. It's kind of interesting, the medications. Most horses that are on inhalers are on the same thing people are on, which is albuterol, which is bronchodilator, and basically fluticasone, which is a corticosteroid to try to get the inflammation in the lower airway out. So it's that combination of those 2 drugs. And a lot of times what we like to do is get albuterol in first, which is the other drug, give him about at least 5-10 minutes to let that maybe open airways, because it's called an emergency drug. It works faster. And then my thought is if we give him a little time, when we do his twice a day albuterol and fluticasone, then maybe the fluticasone has a better shot of getting further down into those lungs, because it really doesn't do the work till it's 90% of the way down to the bottom. But if you have a chance to cover his other nostril, try it. Because if we do, now we're starting to get better at closing that system off to get more med down there. But that's one of the downfalls of these systems is it's a very broken, it's not a closed system. It's a very open system. So if we go slow like that, hopefully we'll see a little better result. Okay, through there. If he is good with over the nose for inhale, hand off the nose for exhale, that's even better, and it's probably better for him too. So I think that's a great suggestion, and it would actually work out better. Right, good. And that concludes the lecture.